Coming up next.
Going in the war room, I had already known that God wasn't going to change my husband. God was going to change me. My ex-husband and I, we had went through counseling multiple times. This wasn't just a one-time incident. This happened over years. And I prayed and wanted it to change. And I wanted the marriage. I wanted the family. I wanted it all. And I wasn't getting it. So there is disappointment. There is anger at times. There is frustration. But in that moment for me, this life of being married is not serving me anymore. And so I had to let it go in order to get something better. And I always say, and I write about that in my book, I didn't go in there for him to change my husband. I went in there for him to change me.
Welcome to Faith Over Addiction podcast, where the chains of fixing and striving are broken and joy is rediscovered in Christ. You're here because you know there's more for you, a life beyond addiction's chaos, rooted in God's peace and promises. This is the place where Christian women like you learn to release the weight of fixing and striving and instead lean into God's strength to create a home filled with love, grace, and hope. She is clothed with strength and dignity. Proverbs 31:25. That's you. You may not feel like it yet, but you are stronger than you know. And God has so much more for you than carrying someone else's addiction. Here, we'll uncover how to set healthy boundaries with love and a little humor. Find resilience and grace in the messy moments of life. Celebrate small victories and embrace joy like never before. Lean into God's promises for restoration and strength because He's not done with your story or your loved ones. This is your invitation to rise up, embrace your worth in God's kingdom, and take back what's been stolen by addiction, your peace, your joy, your future. Your faith is the foundation and your boundaries are the bridge, and God's truth is your guide. I'm Tanya Gioia, your host and fellow traveler on this journey through the chaos of addiction. I'm here to cheer you on, equip you with tools that work, and share the truth that's changed my life. The joy of the Lord is your strength. Nehemiah 8:10. Together, we'll uncover how to create safe, loving space for healing, starting with your own heart and home. By setting boundaries, trusting God's plan, and embracing His truth, you can reclaim your joy, your peace, and your family's future. Then you will be able to stand firm for your family and legacy as a kingdom daughter, a woman who can laugh at the days to come, knowing her identity is secure in Christ. So grab a cup of coffee or tea and get comfortable. Let's walk this journey together. We're about to take back what's been stolen, create a safe, healing space for you and your family, and rediscover the joy God has waiting for you. Welcome to Faith Over Addiction. I'm your host, Tanya Gioia, and I'm here with Lalonna West. She is she's an educational leader and author of Solo and Saved and inspiring women to turn pain into purpose. And she is bringing such great wealth of experience to us today. And one of the things that we've looked at is rejection, resilience, redirection. So Lalonna, please go ahead and start sharing your story and how you have begun to work through these things and lead other women through them.
Yes, well, thank you so much, Tanya, for having me here with you. It's an honor just to share my story. And I think often we forget how important our own story, our own journey is to help other people. I know in order to get to where I am today, I've had to listen and depend on other women to not only inspire me, but also be a role model for me to show me the path. So that's what I want to do. I was in a pit and I came out of the pit. And so my purpose and my calling is to go get people out of the pit and bring them out with me.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Do you want to share, encapsulate your story and then how God brought you through that?
Yes, I was married for 25 years and I married my high school sweetheart. We have two beautiful children. And over the years, I do write about this in my book. The the bricks started to crumble. They started to fall off piece by piece. And it doesn't happen overnight, but when you look back, you wake up one day and you're like, how did I get here? How did I
Mm,
get to this degree of not only unhappiness, possibly toxic, and chaos? And
mm-hmm.
so I was ready to leave, but I wasn't emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually ready to leave. Does that make sense?
Yes. So something was saying this is not the place to be, but what's the how? What's the next?
Yes. And so over the course of the years, God would put angels in my life to give me these little gold nuggets. It's my choice to listen and my choice to do the work. And I start my journey by watching the movie called The War Room.
Oh, I love the War Room.
Yes.
Pamela Shearer, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the War Room inspired me and called me to take action. So I developed my own war room in my very own closet of my house. And that's where I started building a really strong relationship with God. I have always prayed, I've always been to church. I read the Bible. I mean, I have dates in my Bible where I would study and pray, but I had never developed that relationship with God. And
Right.
so he called me into my closet, and the very first Bible verse that he gave me was First Peter 5:10. You will suffer for a while, then God will make you strong, steady, complete, and firm. So I went through all of those processes and I had to trust him to get me to be able to walk away. And when I walked away, I didn't have a job. I had a job met in line, but I was waiting on them to say, "Here's your job. Um, you're ready to go." And so I kept waiting on the wrong thing. Instead of waiting on God and trusting God, I was waiting on the world. And God asked,
Okay, let's back up just a little bit. The decision to walk away was not done lightly, I'm sure. So how
absolutely.
did you come into that process? What was it that shifted for you?
It was the day to day being unhappy and being in a toxic environment. And I just told myself, we only get one life to love.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a time when this life on earth will be over. And when I do die, I want to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to die leaving a purpose and a legacy and helping others. And by staying, I was not serving myself or serving God.
How did he make that clear to you?
Through the war room, when I would go in there and just give my time, my heart, I mean, I have sticky notes that I would stick on my closet and I would read those verses and I had never seen them before, but he would bring them out to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would study the words and ask him, what does this mean? And it
Mm-hmm.
gave me hope. So he gave me hope. And he said, there is a
Mm-hmm.
better life for you. Now, will it
Mm-hmm.
be easy? I mean, walking away absolutely is not easy. It's very much uncomfortable. I was in my home that I had for 24 years. That was my closet, my house, my kitchen, my bed. I walked away from everything. And at
Right.
43 years old, I had to start over.
Uh-huh.
But at that time, starting over was the only option I had. or else I was staying in a pattern that just kept recycling and it wasn't going to change.
Now, in the war room, her husband changes.
Correct. Correct.
And how do you not get angry with God, have that fist in the air and say, you've shown me all this. I've been in the war room. I'm doing what you asked me to do. Bring the miracle.
Going in the war room, I had already known that God wasn't going to change my husband. God was going to change me. My ex-husband and I, we had went through counseling multiple times. This wasn't just a one-time incident. This happened over years. And I prayed and wanted it to change. And I wanted the marriage. I wanted the family. I wanted it all. And I wasn't getting it. So there is disappointment. There is anger at times. There is frustration. But in that moment for me, this life of being married is not serving me anymore. And so I had to let it go in order to get something better. And I always say, and I write about that in my book, I didn't go in there for him to change my husband. I went in there for him to change me. And he changed me. And if he could have changed my husband in the process, great. But that wasn't my sole purpose.
How did you let go? So I've talked to many women on podcasts about this. The marriage and the family can become an idol. That you are so desperate for this. How did you surrender to God something that you had spent? I mean, you guys were high school sweethearts. You'd spent your early adult life and everything creating this. How did you say, I'm letting go?
It happens over time, and it's God showing you through other miracles in your life that if I can take care of you in another setting, let's talk about in a career setting. If I can take care of you here, if I can take care of you in a friendship setting, if I can take care of you in a family setting, if you can step away from this, then I promise I will take care of you. God keeps his promise.
All right, now I got another one for you. What led you to believe it? What kept you from just going, I trust you and I don't trust you, and I trust you and I don't trust you?
The prior years leading to walking away, like I said, I had wanted to, but I didn't know how, and I didn't know how I would be okay. Like, again, who am I to walk away? How will I have money? How will I take care of myself? Where will I live? I don't know what the future looks like. It's building your faith. And so God started sending me signs. And the very first thing that he used in my life was a sign of a feather. And
Okay.
God will communicate with you. You just have to be listening and you have to understand how. So that's how you build your relationship. So I would be walking to my car and I would get to my car and there would be one feather at this front of my car, or right where I opened the door. And I'm like, okay. Then I would be sitting on the porch and one feather would fall from the sky. I have collections of feathers and envelopes that I have just found, one feather. And that's what God was showing me. He's like, I've got you. I need you to trust me. And I don't see as many feathers now because he knows that I trust him with my whole life, with my whole career. And I take leaps of faith. And it's almost like God's like, I want you to do this. You know how, I mean, I'm even in a situation right now where for my career, I can move, but I'm going to have to literally move towns. And God's saying, do you trust me? And I'm like, yes, of course, I trust you. But my whole world will be completely different. So it's building that trust and knowing that no matter what, you will be okay. God will provide a way. He'll provide financial support. He'll send a person that you'll see one time and never see again to give you a message. And it's a feeling that once you feel that from God, you're like, I want more of that. So therefore you stay in that relationship with God and go, show me. But God's also saying to you, you show me that you trust me.
For that woman who is listening to you, sitting on her couch going, I don't see it. There's no feathers. What's a one step she could do? What's a one step she could do to build that faith? It's really a muscle, right? To build that faith muscle.
I would not only encourage her, but challenge her to sit down, write it out, and then pray it out loud and ask God in the most sincere way with the most expecting heart. Ask for one thing that you want. Just ask. I've had women share with me, like after reading your book, after you sharing your story with me, I just said, God, I need to see I need to see proof. I need an answer. So show me one thing. And she said, I asked God, like, I need a little bit of money. Like, just give me $5. Can you send me $5 with through a person? I mean, you have to let go of the how. God will do the how on his own. But when you ask, God will bring it. But you have to mean it with all your heart and let go of the doubt and just know it will come. It may not come tomorrow. It may not come next week, but it will come fairly shortly. And so she asked and she said, Lalonna, she said, I almost forgot to ask the prayer because I was going about my life doing work. And then all of a sudden my phone dinged and there was an alert on my bank account saying that I had received a deposit from an insurance something that was like $1,500.
Oh,
And then it gives me chills right now because she said, I had to come tell you because no one else will believe me. But someone of faith and has a relationship with God will believe and be like, yes. And she said, I was just blown away. And she said, but I had so much joy and so much more faith than I did before. So he's going to guide you through this. Like I saw feathers. And again, and people knew I talked about like, God gave me this feather. Look, I found a feather. Like my children thought I was the crazy feather lady because as I was
right.
going through this process, I was looking for them. And then I had an abundance of feathers. And then once I grew to the next level of faith, he took those away without me even realizing.
Wow. Wow. Tell us a little bit more about the provision when you stepped out and said, God, I don't even have a job. What was the provision that came through?
So I'm in education and I've been in education over 20 years. I was recently staying at home with my children, my daughter. My son was in college, and I had been subbing at a school, just
Mm-hmm.
going in and building that relationship back. And there was a position open, and I said, hey, I want it. And they're like, okay. So I was waiting on them to close that position and say, give me a contract. I wanted a contract before, I wanted it to be safe. Like there would be no worries that I would have a job, I would have an income, and I could make it somehow. I couldn't get that confirmation. There was interruption after interruption. That wasn't anyone's fault. It was just, well, the lady whose position you're taking, she can't resign until she gets a contract. And so it was just this flow that was not happening. And so when it came time to leave, and there was a specific time and day and night that and God said, it's time to go now. I had to go and I didn't have a job. And I went to my mother's cabin. She had a cabin on her land and no one was staying in it at the time. And so I stayed there for 6 weeks. And within that 6 weeks, the job came open a week later after I left. And they said, the
Mm-hmm.
job is yours, but I didn't get paid until um, like 2 months later. But that's okay.
Oh my.
I had two businesses that I had created while I was married. I sold one, which came out from God. It was in another city, and there was someone who came to me and like, we're interested in purchasing your venue. And I'm like, wow, okay. And then it was time for me to move from, I mean, I was staying in this cabin. It wasn't where I wanted to be long term. And
Uh-huh.
I went to look for an apartment, and I've never lived in an apartment. I've been married since I was 18,
Yeah.
and I've never been by myself because I was married. I had children. My first son was born at 19. I've never been alone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I went and I would like drive up to this apartment complex that was newly built, and I would just like peek and look around. I didn't want anyone to see me because I'd never done
Right.
this before, and there was a little bit of fear and even shame. Like when you get divorced, the initial feeling for me was I felt like I was a failure.
Yes. Yes.
Even though I wasn't, I had to overcome that feeling, and there's some shame and there's a lot of remorse because you desperately wanted your family.
Uh-huh.
So I went to that complex and I looked, I just drove around quietly and they weren't finished yet. And then I had the courage, God gave me the courage to call the owner of the complex. And he said, well, we're only down to like two left, even though they're not finished. He's like, do you want to come look at it? I'm like, yes, I want to come look at it. And so I went to look at it and there were two left. And I wanted the one on the end because that was the only one that had a view.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
I had the window because the other ones were like side by side. And so if you looked out the window, you just saw another apartment. But the one on the end, you could look out and see this beautiful view. And there's just so many stories I could tell you. There was this little tree that grew out there, and I watched it grow while I stayed there for 2 years. And the tree would bloom my favorite colors, the these little pink flowers. And I was like, God gave me all of this. And it's about you noticing what God is giving you. I mean, I could have sat, and I did sit there and cry in that apartment, but He gave me the one on the end. No one had ever lived there before. It was like a brand new house.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A brand new space to open up to
Yeah.
you. And like you said, you went from daddy's house to husband's house, baby right away, hadn't ever been alone. When you were thinking about who you were and who you are now, what is, again, let's do a one thing. What is that one thing that woman can start praying for herself now that will shift her life?
There is a prayer that I pray. It's called the Prayer of Jabez.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I've been praying that a long time. And then I've read several books. And the one thing that you pray is, God, what do you want me to do?
Mm-hmm.
And just sit in that. Sometimes we get wrapped up in what I want to do, what I want. So that one thing that I would tell her, you're sitting there and you don't know what to do. You want a change, you want a difference. And you ask God, what do you want me to do? But you are going to have to take a leap of faith in some form or fashion. Take a leap of faith and trust with all your being and all your heart that God will take care of you.
And he does.
And he does over and over and over again. And the woman I am today, I take for granted sometimes how far I've come because I'm just kind of hard on myself. Like I I wrote this book, and this is about the past 8 years of my journey. And I want to do as much as I can. Do we get tired? Yes. Do we get overwhelmed? Yes. But looking back at the woman I was when I left, I spent a lot of my time healing and crying and questioning, and just, you are going to have to allow yourself that space and give yourself time. I did not leave for another man. I left for my peace. Take your time and hold it sacredly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'll spend the weekend this weekend. I mean, yes, I've since in 8 years, I've dated some men, I've tried relationships, but I'm still working on me. And every person that you meet along the way is going to bring something out of you that you didn't know,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I am a confident woman. I am, well, God did all those things, those four things. You will suffer for a while, then I will make you strong, steady, complete, and firm. I'll make you strong physically. I'll make you steady emotionally. I will make you firm financially, and I will make you strong, steady, complete. I'll make you whole as a person.
Yes. Yes. Tell us again where we can find this work, where the audience can work with you. And then would you do me the courtesy of praying over the audience before we wrap this up?
Yes, what an honor. Thank you. Um, this is, I will share with you that this is my fourth podcast. And it is truly an experience for me of like God using me and using you to help someone, just one person,
Mm-hmm.
many people, but to help them understand more about themselves and creating a relationship with God. You can find my book, Solo and Saved. It is on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
There is a Kindle book, paperback, hardback book. You can find me on social medias, just Lalonna West, very simple, Lalonna West, one word. And I would love the honor to pray over you and let you know that I pray at night for everyone to just find the courage in in themselves to walk a different path that is full of peace, love, and joy that only God can provide.
Amen. So if you would do us the honor of praying us out, I would greatly appreciate
Yes. Dear Lord, thank you for this day to give me the opportunity to work with Tanya and speak to women all across the world. We value our relationship with you, God. We thank you for coming into our lives and being so faithful to deliver your promises in your timing. I also know that with my obedience, you give abundance. So I pray that you give these women signs that they ask for so they can create a relationship with you and start building their faith to become the strongest it has ever been. And it will continue to grow. It will be an ultimate faith that they've never experienced in their life. And I pray that they get and receive that from you today, God. Thank you for loving me, taking care of me, and walking beside me every day of my life. And I ask that you stay with us forever and ever until we see you one day in heaven. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for the joy that you bring and the grace that you bring with this transition and as you're learning.
as you're learning in the next step. So thank you for being here.
Thanks so much for tuning into the Faith Over Addiction podcast. Remember, nothing changes until something changes. Today is your day to step out in faith and make a difference. You are a daughter of the King, a woman who can spark incredible ripple effects of hope and healing, not just in your own life, but in your family, your community, and God's kingdom. If this episode encouraged you, bless someone else by sharing it. Send it to a friend who needs a little hope, or post it on Instagram and tag me. I'd love to hear what resonated most with you. And hey, if you're ready to reclaim your God-given identity and create a safe, loving space for yourself and those you care about, let's talk. Book a quick call with me today, and I'd love to hear your story and help you take the next step. Oh, and don't forget to head over to Apple Podcasts, search for Faith Over Addiction, and leave me a review. Your feedback not only makes my day, but helps other women find this podcast and step into freedom too. You are strong, you are loved, and the joy of the Lord is your strength. Nehemiah 8:10. Until next time, keep walking boldly into the life God has for you.